It's Lindy Deppie with lindyscards.com. Be sure to like and subscribe the video if you like and subscribe it. You can also go to my blog and subscribe. If you send me your address, I will send you a catalog. Also, if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I will be glad to be yours. Send me a message and I will again send you a catalog. This video we are highlighting the Nature's Harvest. This is the card that we are going to be creating. The sentiment, sending healing thoughts. May nature's beauty bring peace to your soul. And again, the stamp set, Nature's Harvest by Stampin' Up! All right, let's get started. So this is a very user-friendly card. So you need a scrap of white paper for your flower and the sentiment. Okay, then we have, this is the mat, 2 DSP strips, and in this one I am using the Harvest Meadow. As you can see, I've had a good time with this paper. This is beautiful. I did a card on here I'll show you at the end. But again, their paper is two-sided. It's gorgeous. This is the paper we're focusing on today. We also have our card base, which is 8.5 by 11, cut at 4 1/4 and scored at 5.5. So I will leave those there for a moment. Okay, let's get creating. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere these papers to the cardstock layer. So I'm going to remove that. And again, here is our sample card. By the way, if you do go on and purchase from me, here is a hostess code, D7QWAEKW, excuse me, and it is celebration time until the end of the month, so keep that in mind. I'm also going to be using my multi-purpose Tombow glue. It's my favorite adhesive to use. So I'm just going to quickly glue this down, and I'm going to leave a white border around the edge. And this piece I forgot to mention, we are going to go through we're going to emboss this piece. We are going to, I didn't mention this before, I said it was easy, but we are going to use Copics, or if you have blends, you can use those. And we also are going to use a embossing folder on this, the typeset. So let me grab that real quick. Okay, this is the embossing folder. We are going to be running it through the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. And it does have words on it. I've used this before. You just have to be careful to make sure that you orient it correctly. And that's what it looks like once it goes through the die cut machine. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste this down to our card base. Okay, there we go. Next, we are going to be doing some stamping, which always is the best part. So here's my scrap, and I've already attached my stamp to the block. So whenever I use a large stamp, I turn the stamp upside down, and I like to ink it up that way. Okay, and I'm going to, right, so there we go. I'm not going to worry about that because the only other image that I'm going to stamp is my sentiment. So let me ink that up. Press that down. Okay. All right, and now I have not invested in the blends. I do have a few. I buy them when I can afford them. But I do have a ton of Copic markers. I have, I don't know, 100 of them probably. So I have found if you try hard enough, you can find, and there's also actually online, I typed in Stampin' Up! Blends Copic markers, and someone had created a chart, and whoever it was, what a godsend, that kind of can correlate some of the markers to the actual stamp sets. So to color my flower, I started off with Poppy Parade ink pad, you can see. So this is what I'm going to use that correlates with the Poppy Parade. And what I'm going to do is just kind of scribble this down just to give my flower a little bit of dimension here, kind of close to the center of the flower. The next shade was Cajun Craze that I used. Let's see, which one is the Cajun Craze? E19. Let's see if I can pull out that stamp pad and show you. This one's a little bit darker, but it'll do. And you can see I've labeled the tips of the Copics, excuse me, with whatever it happens to correlate with. I'm just going to color this in like towards the bottom, leaving a little bit, because the last color I'm going to use is the Mango Medley, which, let me see if I can find this one. So you can see that's a pretty good match as well. Melody, Mango Melody. And I'm just going to color the bottom part of this flower. And then for the green, I am using G85, and this one is for the, let me show you this one, the Evening Evergreen. That's a pretty close match. And then just go over a little bit. I like to darken up where the shadows may be, such as where the stem meets the flower, and maybe where some of the leaves overlap the other leaf, just like so. Okay. And for the middle, I'm also going to color that up with some, just like that, and then go over maybe this, the bottom part, a little bit of dimension. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to use my die cut machine. We have a couple images that we need to die cut. We need to use this one on a piece of Evening Evergreen. Let me grab my Evening Evergreen paper. So we're going to cut this out with our Evening Evergreen. This one, we are going to cut our floral image out, and then this one is for our sentiment. I'll be right back. Okay, I've gone ahead and die cut our images out. Let's see what we can do with this card. So again, I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue and glue down these little fern pieces, like a shadow type deal. And I also went ahead and just glued this piece down as well. I didn't pop it up because I wanted to pop up the sentiment. And this is, you know, either for someone who, has an illness or has suffered a loss. So we want it to be a little more on the elegant side, I think. I am going to pop up the strip with my dimensionals. I'm using the baby dimensionals. Let's get these backs off. Sometimes it can be very tricky. I use my poker tool a lot to help me when I don't have any nails. Oops. I also want to show you another nifty thing you can do with these alcohol markers, which is what the Stampin' Blends are, as well as the Copic markers. But if you want to, let's say, add some rhinestones and you don't have that particular color, well, if you have an alcohol marker or the Stampin' Blends, you can, they can be whatever color you'd want them to be. So I'm going to use 3, so I'm just cutting those down. And I'm going to grab my green marker, put that behind some paper, and I'm just going to color them in, and it is permanent. It's pretty cool. So you can turn any dimensional, or excuse me, any rhinestone into any color you wish. And then I'm just going to carefully place them on my card. I like to use the rule of odds, and I try to place them to where I want your eye to go. So with these 3, the way they're spread out, this right here is the main focal point of the card. All right, and again, don't forget the inside of your card, and don't forget your envelope. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, and if you would like me to be your demonstrator, again, I would love that privilege. And if you do order from me, please put this host code in, and I will see you next time. I made just a couple so far, but I used a different color scheme on this. That's the DSP, it's very pretty. And I used Midnight, or Night of Navy, excuse me. And on this one, I just stepped it up a little bit by sponging the center, the white matte with Night of Navy. Okay. So these are the cards that I have created so far with this stamp set. Here's the one that we did today, along with my sample. So again, thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. Bye.